Alexander Volkanovski is one of the most respected fighters in the UFC. No matter who he's fighting or where he goes, people seem to love him. And that's not an accident. It's not talent. Talent can only get you so far. There's something deeper going on here. So today we're breaking down 7 lessons from Volk on how to be someone that others respect and admire. If you're new around here, my name is Ben, and this is where we break down the greatest lessons from warriors and leaders, both old and new. I'm not some sort of paid analyst or anything like that, but I study these people nonstop, and I train Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu as well. But enough of that, let's get into the video. The first thing that makes Volk a man others respect is he understands it's okay to not be perfect. He's comfortable sharing his flaws and emotions, like after his second loss to Islam when he opened up about some of the mental health issues that he was facing.
You know what I mean? It is hard, like it really is hard for athletes, sorry. I never thought I'd struggle with it, but I mean, like for some reason when I wasn't fighting or in camp, sorry, I just do my head in, you know what I mean? I needed a fight, and then this opportunity come up, and I'll be honest, I wasn't training as much as I should have, but I thought I had to, I had to do it. I was struggling a little bit not fighting, doing my head in. I don't know how, everything's fine. I've got a beautiful family.
Now, the caveat here is to do this at the right time. You don't want to always be an emotional wreck. A good rule of thumb is that if everyone else is freaking out, you want to be calm and lead by example. But if everyone else is calm and things are under control, then you can share what's bothering you. Another time that it's acceptable to be an emotional wreck is when Dobby dies in the 7th Harry Potter movie. Just saying. All jokes aside, people want to help you. They want to see that you're human. So part of that means opening up, especially because it helps others deal with the same issue. Volkanovski is known for never backing down from a challenge. He's one of the mentally toughest fighters out there. And it's not that Volk is some crazy alien who doesn't feel fear. He gets just as nervous as the rest of us. But what makes him so admirable is he doesn't let this fear stop him from taking on a new challenge. Now, the dark side of this is that this drive can sometimes push him too far. For example, Rogan has said he didn't think Volk should have taken the second Islam fight on a 10-day notice, that it was unsafe. But part of the legend of Volk is that he'll go a bit too far in the pursuit of greatness.
You know, it's so tricky because I'm just such a huge Volk fan that I just look, I wish I had his ear. I don't know if he would have listened to me, but if I had his ear.
I think that's what makes those guys special, though, is that they're like, it's the self-belief.
100%. That's what makes you a champion. You cannot become a Volkanovski without this unstoppable belief in yourself.
Me and him are the complete opposite. Hey, if someone was like, bro, you're probably going to lose, I'm like, yeah, you make a good point. Yeah. I'm like, how much are they paying me, you know?
Now, I can't necessarily recommend that people start taking fights on a 10-day notice, but it's easier to go too far and then draw back than it is to not go far enough and try to make it up later.
If you don't push yourself, right, how do you know where that line is? Right? I'd rather go too far than not far enough.
So lesson 2 is continually challenge yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. Story time. This guy was the richest man in all of Utah, worth over $1 billion when he died. But he was unhealthy his whole life. He died of diabetes in his 60s, and he left behind a wife and kids that he barely saw. At the end of his life, an interviewer asked him if he wished that he'd done anything differently with his life. His response? He said he'd wished he'd had more fun. This was a guy who had a 30,000 square foot mansion and owned the Utah Jazz, and he didn't even have fun. In contrast to that, Volkanovski seems like he's always having fun. He always maintains a sense of humor about him.
Mate, you're doing it wrong. You do it then. And don't be a smart mate. I'll sort you out. I used to be a UFC world champion.
Yeah, sure you did, mate.
Mate, I'm telling you. Yeah, so like I said, I was a UFC champ, and I thought, you know what, I want another belt. So I went to go for a champ against Ilia Makhachev. Yeah, much bigger than me, a division above, Dagestani wrestler. Everyone thought I was mad. They thought, you got no chance, mate. And mate, you should have seen it. It was one of the best fights you will ever see. Mate, it's not the point, mate. I got robbed, but it's not the point.
The thing is, almost every single person wishes that they were having more fun. And if you can be the one to make them laugh or make them smile or lighten the mood in a serious situation, people will look up to you. They'll want to be friends with you, or they'll even want to date you if that's what you're looking for. And humor in general is great. But if you really want others to respect you, the best type of humor here is jokes that build others up and that put yourself down. Especially when you're at the top like Volk. It'd be easy to say, oh, look at me, look at how great I am. But instead, he makes videos like this.
Volkanovski too old. They'll make a headline out of anything these days, huh? Yeah, every time I think of hanging up the gloves, this phone rings. It's always Dana. We want you to headline this next main card. This will be him now. Watch. Dana. Who? Taxation office. My credit card details are 9036.
It's a scam. Hang up.
Well, that's the thing. My neighbour's fence, at least 10 million in my yard. It's ridiculous.
What'd you say, little fighter boy?
Nothing, Beverly.
Yeah, I'll see you in court,
I'm talking about my
mate.
veggie garden.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
man.
that'll be right.
Quick, trust me,
Run
it's
back
crazy.
to your
It's crazy.
silly little hexagon.
Obviously, Volk is a great fighter. At one point, he was #1 pound for pound in the world. But you can be excellent at one thing and a wreck in every other area of your life. What sets Volk apart is he lives a balanced life outside of the octagon. When he's not fighting, he loves cooking, he's got great friendships, and he's a strong family man with 3 daughters, who he'll sometimes make funny videos about.
Always trying to stay awake. Oh, I need to get a toilet on. My belly hurts. Oh, you know, just trying to kill time. Like, oh, they're like, I'm scared. I'm like, what are you scared of, darling? Oh, what if someone breaks in? I'm like, darling, your door's open. I'm right there. No one's gonna break in. Oh, but what if, what if they break in this window? I'm like, darling, it's all right. I'm right here. I'm a world champion. Don't worry. I'm sure I'll sort it out. She goes, what if it's Ilia Makhachev?
Most of us admire greatness in any one area, like a great golfer, or a great musician, or a great entrepreneur, even if they suffer in other areas, like cheating on their wife, or being addicted to drugs, or not being a good father. But where things get really special is when someone has greatness in many areas of their life. Because it's so much harder to become great and not let it take over everything else. Those are the types of people that we really respect. So lesson 4 is aim for greatness in all areas, not just one. And you guys know I love examples, so I'll drop a list here of some people who have achieved greatness in many areas of their life, not just one. I couldn't make this video without talking about Volk's work ethic. Everyone that knows him says he's the hardest worker in the room. And it's like, maybe everybody says that about you when you're a UFC champion. So the thing to stress here is that people care more about your trajectory, where you're going, than your current standing. Because your current standing can change at any point in time. But if you're on an upward trajectory, you're bound to become successful at some point. And people want to watch that. They want to come along for the ride. That's why we all naturally want to support the kid with the lemonade stand. Sure, they're not rich yet, but they're doing the things that can take them there. And that's cool. We can't all be UFC champions. I'm hoping one of you guys will be. But we could all work 5 to 10% harder. And when you do that, people pick up on it and they respect you more because of it. I try to continuously remind myself that if you want to lead a team or a company, you should be working harder than anyone else there. In this video, we've talked a lot about positive attributes so far, but we can't forget what happens when things turn negative. And Volk is world class at this. Lesson 6 is lose with grace. Volk lost to Ilia Makhachev twice, and both times he could have easily made excuses. The first time he lost a very close and very controversial decision, and a lot of people disagreed with it.
Bro, he lost that fight, I believe.
Me too.
Eddie, you think you lost the fight?
I think it was 3-2.
Brian,
What's that?
who do you think won the fight?
I got to give it to Volk. I
think
have
so
to.
too.
Maybe because I'm
3-2. Maybe it's hard. We're watching it. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're not scoring it legitimately,
I
but
would say
it
this.
seems like the audience agrees with this, but they're in Australia.
And the second time, he took the fight on a 10-day notice. And yet, you never hear him give an excuse. In fact, he just shows more respect to Islam.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. It was
No one likes the guy who's always making excuses. Sure, you've met people like this. Oh, it was the wind. Oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night. Oh, my boss hates me. But I want to stress this doesn't mean don't take action from losses. Maybe after the second loss to Islam, Volk should learn not to take fights on a 10 days notice. I don't know. Or maybe if your boss really truly does hate you, you should ask to switch teams. But the time to reflect on that is in private, not in public. I recently put together this list of common losses that you might face in everyday life to see if I'm complaining when I deal with these. It's not everything, but I found it helpful, so I thought I'd share it with you guys as a place to start. The last habit that makes Volk a man people admire is related to the previous point, and it's that he reflects on his wins and his losses in order to improve. Now, doing this is going to help you get better. That's a little bit obvious, but a more subtle benefit here is that because it shows you're teachable and willing to learn, it makes people respect you more. I think of it this way. Who would you rather have on your team? Some guy who's a genius but thinks he's always right and refuses to change his mind? Or a guy who's a little bit less educated but is always asking for feedback and improving off of it? Personally, I'd rather have the second. It goes back to what we talked about earlier with the trajectory. The second guy might not be at the top right now, but he'll get there if you give him enough time because he's constantly improving. That's also why I ask for feedback in the comments of every video. I want to learn what people like and don't like so I can make these videos as good as possible for you. So if you have any feedback, please let me know. As a summary, here are the 7 lessons from Volk, and I'll see you next time.